Hi, FlossTube. It has, well, I don't know if this is FlossTube. Honestly, it's been so long, I'm not even sure anybody's still watching. But just in case, hi, I'm back. It's been quite a while. Yeah, I actually honestly didn't look and see what my last update was. I was kind of embarrassed. I'm like, I don't know if I should even be doing these anymore. Um, but I'm having fun, so I thought I'd pop in and say hi, and here's what I'm working on. Um, I have almost no cross stitch. I started this, Who's Scared. It was one of the kits the Spawn bought for me for Christmas. And so I've been working on that a little bit. I, of course, had to go back to the fabric store, to the cross stitch store, LYS. So I came home with this pattern because I love polar bears. I collect polar bear ornaments occasionally. And then my other video just started playing, and that is annoying. Stop. Good, at least they downloaded. Sorry about that. I'm made some videos on my phone and I'm trying to download them to my computer. And I ordered this gorgeous fabric that I'm going to work it on. It is a 36 count Phantom Edinburgh from Edinburgh. God, how did I say it? Anyway, I know how to say that. I've actually been there. Picture this plus, and then I think I have some other stuff floating around. But quite honestly, my brain has not been in floss tube cross stitch at all. This is just, I don't think I've worked on this in I don't know, couple of weeks. It's all cosplay all the time. So I think last time I was still trying to size my top um, on the dress form. Sorry, it's a very handy place to put my tablet for when I'm working in here. Haiku, volleyball cosplay, but volleyball anime has no right to be as good as it is. Oh my god, it is so good. Seriously, watch it. It's wholesome family entertainment. Yeah, the girls, it's Japanese anime, so the girls kind of get short shrift, but compared to what they're treated like in a lot of anime, it's actually not too bad. Anyway, that was our regularly scheduled commercial break, maybe? Who knows? Anyway, I did manage to get my a bodice that fits, as you can see, it's right here. Made some adjustments to it. Um, I am going to be using the Picture This Plus pattern with sleeves from another pattern. I have it's all scattered because I haven't been working on it recently. So, but I'm actually really happy with the pattern. I'm almost ready to start cutting my fancy fabric. Almost. I'll probably cut the lining out first and assemble that somewhat to make sure. Part of the problem is my my weight is fluctuating a little bit, and I've actually lost like 25 pounds in quarantine. I had to go to the doctor, and they're like, "How did you do this?" And I'm like, "You give up everything fun to eat," because I had to go on a really limited diet that's basically chicken and salad and dried apricots and maybe some blueberries and apples. That's really, well, lentil soup occasionally. That's pretty much what I live on. And so my weight has dropped, and it dropped a little bit more, although I quit the I haven't been using the rowing machine. So anyway, because of that, because my shape has changed a little bit, I'm a little reluctant to put the dress together until we get a little closer to Comic Con. And it's not like I don't have a cajillion other things I can be working on in the meantime, because I still have my wig, my cape, my shift. It's like there's things to do. So what I've been working on is, well, I brought up the cape. So let me show you the cape. I spilled some patterns on the floor. Oh, there, before I lose track of it. So I had found this gorgeous cherry chocolate fabric. I am not 100% content with how it came out. Um, the other thing is my gorgeous this. I don't have enough of it to go around the bottom, my gorgeous trim. All I have, so I'm basically just going to do around the hood and down the front, which, is okay. And it leaves me about, I needed 4 yards, maybe even 4.5 yards more to get it, or not more, but I think I bought all they had, which was right around 4.5 meters. And so a little over 4.5, close to 5 yards. And it wasn't enough. I needed like 6.5. And I thought it would be, but the cape's a little longer. And in order to have enough to go around the bottom, I would have to add like I'd have to take like either a foot off the length, which I do not want to do because I like it. It's long and I want that length, or add like a foot of fur or something on the bottom, and that would kill the flowy, lovely look of any cape. And so I just thought, okay, fine, we're just going to put it down the front. So I've been slowly hand stitching that on and trying not to snag my fabric too badly. So I've got lovely hood because as a dwarf you must have a hood, and then I'm stitching. I've got about not quite all the way done with the front. Unhook here. Anyway, I'm not quite all the way done sewing it up the front. Hi, Mirga. What are you up to? She's gonna go sit in the window. So anyway, so this will, once I get this sewn on, this will for all intents and purposes be done. I hemmed the bottom. I need to press it really well because it's a curved hem and I hand hemmed it. But anyway, so that's moving along pretty well and I'm very happy with it. The other thing I'm working on is my bag, and I uploaded a couple of videos. I made a couple of videos on what I've been doing with it on my phone, and I'm going to try and append those to what's going on to this video, and hopefully that will work. And so that's pretty much what I've been working on. Real life update, life goes on. They're expecting us back in the office in September, early September. I'm not 100% thrilled about that because they're not requiring vaccinations or proof of vaccination before people go back. I'm just kind of, yeah, that makes me a little nervous. And plus, I have now had a year and a half pretty much without a 2 to 3 hour commute every day. I've been making, except for a couple of years when I worked a little closer in, I've been making a 2 to 3 hour, well, at first it was 3 hours at least, sometimes four if trains were slow or something happened. 2 hour, 2.5 to 3 hour commute for the last 15 years. And I'm done. I'm just tired, but they don't want people working at home as much. I think we've always had a number of people who work at home. And I think they're trying to start to clamp down on that a little bit and bring more people back into the office in a hybrid role, which means basically I have to have a home office and an office. So my boss works from home. And because they work from home prior to um, the pandemic, they get to stay home. She's not going to care if I go into the office or not, but I am going to try and get transferred to a corporate office that's a little closer to where I live, where at least I could drive instead of having to always ride the train, because I don't mind the commute, but it's gotten really crowded and there's no place to, by the time I catch the train, there's no place to sit. And so it's, 20 minutes standing up. I can kind of read anyway. Enough whinging. I do have mass transit I can ride. I don't want to. So I'm going to try and get transferred to a corporate office. It's local, but it's a different division, and they're not always happy about having people from other divisions in their space. So we'll see. I know that one of the consistent complaints in the surveying they did while we were all out was commute time. And I'm hopeful that means that because this other office is closer, corporate will allow me to go there, whether or not the division that's there wants me or not. So anyway, things I still have to do. I need to make my chemise. That's what I'm going to try and do. I need to fix my wig because the last wig I did, I bought a gray wig and then I added in, because my hair is streaked naturally. Well, not with the blue and the pink, but I have this natural kind of gray streaky thing going. I went ahead and made gray streaky. I added black and white wefts into the wig, also to fill it out because dwarves have a lot of hair. And I didn't know how to rat it or anything like that. I've watched a number of videos on how to do that now, so I can hopefully do that. And I'm thinking about going to the local anime con because I've always avoided it because, I'm not really into anime. But now it's like, okay, Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, I've got Avatar The Last Airbender anime, and now I'm like hook, line, and sinker and soul into Haikyuu. My little fangirl heart's having fun with it. And so it's like, I'm not going to try and make a volleyball outfit. I ordered a couple of t-shirts. Oh, I have another idea for a costume. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do it. This one's dwarf related, but I'm actually thinking about going to the anime convention, so I may make like a generic Avatar, probably Earthbender style outfit. So there's that. Other cosplay I'm debating is, let me show you. I did this on my embroidery machine, a la Sons of Anarchy. I'm not 100% convinced I want to do it because it's like, let's, yeah, I just, I loved the show as much as you can love anything that dark, but it was really, really beautifully. It was really well done. Really a well done story. So I've made some tags like, memorial tags for kids. And again, I would just do Princess D's because that just seems to be my alter ego, I guess. And I've been working on making these because I made a costume a couple years ago that was an homage. Well, okay. Oh, please. So I got my camera, the little short videos I took on my camera that showing what I was working on with making my Heatherby bag. So I'm going to cut those in here. Hopefully they work. And then I will go back to the hold please part, which kind of didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But hey, nothing like recording 30 minutes of video and losing it because you forgot to press record anyway. All right, so I'm going to upload the little tidbits it's about 5 minutes, I think, 6 minutes about what I'm doing on my bag right now. And then I'll go back to the rest of the story. And yeah, I checked my subscribers and there's not as many as before, which I'm okay with actually. So, okay, back to the video. So I've been working on my bag, my dwarf bag, and I was trying to figure out how to make the straps for the Heatherby, and I'm using this leftover stash leather that I've had for, I don't know, 10 years, and I realized, oh wait, look, it would work really well as a contrast to my bag. And so I'm going to put a row of this around the top, row of this leather, and I'm going to use that just not quite as a bias, but as a strengthening. But it's thin, and I'm like, this will stretch. It's not going to work to actually hold a bag. And I was like, oh, I could go to the store and get webbing because of course the webbing I have is too wide, and of course I don't have bias tape or anything that will fit. And then I realized I have skirt tape. I'm not sure what the technical term is, but this is what you put inside the waistband of a skirt to help support it if you have a really full skirt. And it's a woven twill, which unravels horribly if you're not careful. I've got little bits of it everywhere because I've been cutting it with pinking shears. So then my brilliant idea that I came up with was sew a tube of, well, I thought it was a good idea. It may not be brilliant, but anyway, sew a tube of the leather and then insert this. When I folded this in half, it turned out to be exactly the right width. So sew a tube, slide in the skirt the skirt tape, whatever it is, I forget the technical term, and then that will support the bags. And that's what I got done. So I'm pretty happy with how that looks. More to come. Okay, so here we are with the finished handles. I'm actually pretty pleased with how they look. I think it will support the bag quite nicely. I'm probably overkill on the support, but you never know. I mean, at this point, I'm kind of worried that the bag itself will be stronger than the handles. They're reproduction Heatherby. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it, but they're reproduction handles from a Viking grave site that they're mostly sure were for handbag holding. They're not 100% sure, but the way they work is that you put a string, you connect them through these two holes on the end, and then when you hold the handbag up by the handle, it pulls it shut. and then when you want to open it, you let it down and release that tension, and it opens. And for size, I started with a traditional Heatherby bag, which there's various sizes, there's various handbag handles you can get. Some are more complicated than others. I'm trying to stick to a budget, so I went for the simplest ones. There's ones with really ornate things, but I didn't necessarily want anything like that. Plus budget. What budget? What's a budget? Anyway, I went for, so I'm constrained by the size, but I also wanted something that was a little bit bigger than just your basic bag with a U-shaped bag that, you know, you'd make it this wide, sew the seams, and then it's just not big enough because I'm going to carry this with my costume when I go to Comic-Con, Rose City here. And I just was like, I will need a little more space most likely. Plus I want to be able to put a water bottle in it at the least. So this is about the same width, believe it or not. This is just your basic mini reusable shopping bag, and they're about the same width. So I kind of use the Heatherby pattern, but also use some of the dimensions from this. And so the rest of the bag, this is my fabric and my external bag. And I cut just a single piece of fabric as in a Heatherby and then added the sides. Make it to give it that extra depth. Is it perfect? No. Are there measurement mistakes? Yes. Am I going to show them to you? No. So that will be the outside. And then, like I said, I'm putting a leather strip around the top like this. And then the handle will go between the top and the lining. And I'm actually pretty excited about how this is going to look. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I may I'm debating running the connecting piece, strap, whatever, through a couple of rings on the side so that when it closes, it'll pull those in, which would be very medieval. Because, you know, I'm doing a dwarf fantasy costume, so let's go with everything historically accurate, right? Because, you know, dwarves, sure, they were historical. For the inside, I could not resist. I had this fabric. So this is for my Lady D's costume. She is from Lord of the Rings, in case you aren't familiar. She was Fili and Kili's mom. And what's the major traumatic event? A dragon attack. So, you know, let's go with dragon fabric for the lining. Yay, let's do that. I just couldn't resist. I had this left over from some pillowcases and there's a better piece of it left over. I had this left over from pillowcases and masks that I was making. I was just like, yeah, so that will be my lining fabric. I am just going to put some plain gray twill around the top, just to give me something strong to stitch it to, because I don't know. We'll see. I might just sew around, but it's going to be interesting attaching these, and I may wind up hand sewing that. I'd rather not, but I'm a huge fan of hand finishing because that's the other project I'm working on, and so I'll pull that out and show it. But for now, I'm going to put some some gray bias tape along the top of that. And then so I got to get that pinned, and then I need to clip this along the top and sew it. I'm debating which way I'm going to do it. If I'm going to sew it here first and then flip it up, or if I'm going to sew it here first and flip it down. Who knows? And then I'll put the handles in. And hey, I might actually get this thing finished today. Woohoo! That would be quite a thing. I have one more project that I'm working on. It's a cape. It's out in the other room because I'm sewing the trim. And I'll pull that out and show it to you later. More to come, as I said. Bye. Okay, so nothing like finishing up another 20-25 minutes of floss tube and realizing that you forgot to hit record. I thought I'd done that. I didn't. A lot in there about the costume I want to show you, which I will still show you, but then also a whole little side expedition into my poor cat having all her teeth pulled because broke down and just decided to pay off a dental cleaning, and they found all kinds of problems, and now she has like four of her bottom front teeth left and six of her bottom top teeth, and that is it. She's all gummy. So I'm calling her now. Hey, Gummy. Anyway, I'm hopeful it's going to help her. She has weird autoimmune reactions to things, including her own dental plaque, evidently. The vet told me not to feel too bad because they're like, we didn't even see that coming when we got in there. And they'd been telling me for about the last year or two that she would benefit from a dental cleaning. And I was just like, who cleans their cat's teeth? I've never cleaned my cat's teeth. I've had cats. We don't clean their teeth. But yeah, evidently I just was like, all right, she has this immune thing. It is definitely, she has problems with her teeth. It might be hurting her to eat. Let's go ahead and I'll pay it off over the year with their whatever care plan. Well, that wasn't enough. It cost me like another 2x. But anyway, I did. It's like, it's my fur baby. What do you do? So you tell the real babies when they call for, if they call and say, hey, I'm like, nope, spend it on the fur baby. Nothing left for you. Anyway, so yeah, that happened. I was talking about my Sons of Durin possible cosplay. I have ordered a vest. Like I said, I may make it a like Sons of Durin tour rather than, a bike club thing, which I think I may go with that and just Sons of Durin Lonely Mountain tour because, maybe it was a tour they all took together. So, um, this was the cosplay I wanted to talk about. I grew up reading sci-fi and fantasy. My mom actually got me into it. And when I was 8 or 9, yeah, I was 8, I think, when I first picked up an Andre Norton book to read. Um, yeah, she's one of the reasons I got hooked on history, believe it or not, sci-fi is one of the reasons I got hooked on history because she wrote time travel books. And so she had these time travel characters that would go from the future back into the past. And that's why I knew what the Beaker Revolution was. And I loved that combination, which is one of the reasons I fell into Horizon Zero Dawn, played it, finished it. Easiest level because I'm playing it. And I'm like, you have to fight monsters because it's a video game, I guess. You have to fight monsters. And I'm like, it's killing me, it's killing me. And Spawn is sitting there going, Mom, you have 3 bars of health. You're on the easiest level and you're not even hurt. I'm like, it's killing me, it's killing me, I can't kill it. Anyway, I played through it. I really enjoyed it. I am not sure what I'm going to play next, but in the meantime, I've got volleyball anime to watch, I guess. Anyway, yeah, that's why I liked Horizon Zero Dawn was that mix of sci-fi and history. It just seems to be my jam. And Cowboys and Aliens, yes, it's one of my favorite movies. You have to watch the extended edition, which adds in all the little character beats that were missing from the theatrical edition. It makes it a better movie. I understand why they cut them out, but that movie it's fun. It's just fun. So anyway, I wanted to make an homage to Andre Norton, and I chose to make it to the series that a tattoo, right? The Solar Queen series, which was one of the first ones that she had published. I think she published a couple of them under Andrew North, because then as now women were, even more so then, it was a white man's colonial imperial domain sci-fi. It really has been. And it's been really, really wonderful and amazing to watch people of color and women finally starting to push back and say, hey, it wasn't okay that Harlan Ellis groped Connie Willis on the stage. I think that's on the stage at the Hugo Awards. He got away with it. Now it's like, no. And George R. R. Martin is anyway, I've been really happy to see the push and the entry into the sci-fi world of more women and more non-Western fantasy-based stuff, which if you haven't watched Shadow and Bone on Netflix, it's really fun and it's really good. And I love it. Not enough to make a costume, but I do love it. Anyway, back to this. So I decided, I did research. I was like, should I make a flight jacket? Because, they're astronauts, basically. They fly around space in spaceships. And I was like, I'll make a flight jacket. And I was trying to figure out how to put it together. And what I finally hit on were flight suits. NASA makes flight suits for each of their missions. And then also I found out each mission gets a patch. And so I was just like, yeah, brainstorm, which actually is one of my patches. So I bought a retro 50s style, kind of retro 50s-ish style flight suit. I didn't want to bother to make one, so I just bought some coveralls. And they're brown because they wore brown. in the series. Their uniforms were brown, and they she didn't really describe them. There wasn't a real description or a picture to work off of. So I just decided to go retro old school, and I'm not even going to worry about the sealing them up and the different things. I was just like, no, I just did this. And so um, this was the ship, name of the series, and these are all the different members of the ship, crew members, including their animals, their cat and their poo bat. Yeah, it's a thing, kind of blue crab thing, bat, queeks. Anyway, so that was the back. And then this is A.M. Norton because her name was Alice Mary Norton. And then my favorite character, my first literary crush, oh, I love that guy, still do, was a cargo master. So I did this, although I probably should have put a bar across it because he was an apprentice. I didn't, oh well, too late. So I did that. The stars because that's what allowed when he got through his training. Like I said, this is 1950s, 60s sci-fi, okay? So it just glosses over a lot of stuff. But anyway, this meant that he was allowed to go outside the solar system in this series of books. He was allowed to journey out into space instead of being stuck within our solar system. And then he wasn't corporate. There were corporate trading companies, and then there were the free traders, which were the little merchant marine traders kind of around, that got all the little, they weren't Hudson Bay companies, so they were just the little free traders, and that's what he was. And there's a lot of rivalry and stuff. It actually, in some ways, it's kind of looking at the way the corporations have taken over now, especially the tech corporations. Um, think tech corporation and tiny little startup, only a little bit bigger. So that's how that went. So anyway, I had to make a patch. So what I did was I just looked through tons and tons of online machine embroidery patches, and I literally bought my big embroidery machine to make this costume. So it's probably the most expensive cosplay I've ever done because, yeah, but my friend was into making patches, and she was wanting to get rid of this machine, and she gave me a pretty good break on it, good deal on it. And then she was able to buy the machine she wanted. So I bought it from her. So I designed a patch for the free traders. And this is just a melange, mishmash of various patterns. I think it's two different patterns. And then this is a symbol for Sol. If you want an astronomical symbol, I don't think it's Astros. Anyway, that's Earth. So, he's from the Sol system, from Earth, because there were Martians at that point. And then just another patch, and then my favorite character, his name, and just another ship patch. And then, so for the books, so like I said, NASA does a patch for each mission, and you can look them up online. They're actually kind of cool. So what I decided to do was for each book, I found something that from the book that I could make the emblem on the patch. And yes, there was a ghost elephant in the Voodoo Planet book. And so I put something emblematic of the book. The date is the date it was published, and then the title of the book. Plague Ship. See, they had these little bugs. As you can see, first one was 1955, 1956, 1959. Yes, it was called Postmarked the Stars, and there were dinosaurs. That one was actually my favorite book in the series. And then later on in life, she allowed the universe to be updated. I think her publishers wanted to because it had been pretty popular. You can buy an omnibus edition of these first 4 books, which I have, hardbound, nice. And then so they brought in a couple of newer writers, and the first one, I was like, oh, great, there's an update. Yay, more story. It was the most horrific author insertion I have ever read in my life. The main new character was female, of course, which we can get into all kinds of debates about internalized misogyny, and particularly when you get into fandom and Sasha and all that stuff. So we're not going to. This character was awful because none of the other characters were in character because they all fell in love with her because she was so wonderful. It was just like, are you kidding me? She was the main character in the book. So I didn't want more stories about Mary Sue. Please, no. Author insertions are a thing, but this was horrible. And so I was like, I don't want to make a patch for it. Well, the name of the book is Redline the Stars. Worked, huh? So I just did this because it's dead to me. I hate it. I don't even own a copy of it. That's how much I hate it. And I'm very much a completist. I mean, I'm working on collecting the hardbound Full Metal Alchemist books because I want them all. Must have the things. Anyway, um, yeah, sorry. I don't have any fun history tidbits or anything for you. This is just all fangirl. So then the next two books were co-authored with Sherwood Smith, which basically means Sherwood Smith wrote them. And I give Sherwood Smith credit. She actually made the character from the Red Line book palatable. She did a really, really good job toning her down. So yeah. So then I did the last two patches. Yes, there was a brainstorm. They did play bagpipes. Yes, it was a duel, and he brought bagpipes to a duel. Yeah, they're goofy, fun, they managed to keep the flavor of the old series too. So anyway, so this is, I love this cosplay. I mean, I wore it to Rose City and one person got it out of everybody there. I think it confuses people. They think I'm Kaylee. I want to, from the front, I guess they think I'm Kaylee from Firefly. They think I'm a character from a video game. I don't know which character or what video game. my the Spawn could probably tell me. The Spawn could probably tell me. And actually, the Spawn's partner is the one that pointed that out. It was like, oh, okay, got it. But and if I go to the more literary focused con here, the sci-fi con, I probably will get a lot more recognition from people on it. But it's my favorite in part just because I can get up and throw it on and go. There's always something to be said for that. I don't have to, put on a wig. I don't have to do makeup. I can just, I usually do a little makeup. But anyway, so this is one of my favorite cosplays and I love it. And so that's where I'm thinking I'm going to put the Sons of Durin Lonely Mountain Tour vest together and do patches and stuff for that. And so as I'm going to work on that on the side while I'm working on that. And right now I'm getting ready. Can you see? There we are. Getting ready to sew the leather trim around the top of my bag. I have my bag handles ready to go to insert. I have to add the bias tape on the top of the trim, and then for the handles, Dr. Christie, I didn't do my own tablet weaving, but I broke down and didn't pay nearly enough. This is such beautiful tablet weaving. I ordered this from a weaver in Lithuania. There's a number of tablet weavers on Etsy that you can buy things from, and I ordered this just as a treat, and I'm going to attach it to this webbing and use it as the strap on my bag. And I'm really excited about that. And I probably won't get that done this week. I'm hoping I can finish the rest of the bag, if not the strap. And the Spawn is off at their D&D game today, and we have to go into the crawl space and look at the filter for do some stuff down there. There's a whole house water filter thing that I need to look at that I haven't looked at since I moved in. But yeah. Anyway, it's like, then we could maybe quit just using the filtered water through the refrigerator. And then I got some other household things to do, which who wants to do those, right? I'd rather, watch anime, sew, cross stitch, do these things instead. Crafting forever, housework whenever. Can be very much a fan of that. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's it. This is probably going to be a lot more cosplay than anything going forward. As I have said in other videos, if I do the Avatar costume, I'm vacillating between just a plain earthbender and possibly a gender bent Uncle Eero's tea house costume, which I think would be really cool because I could carry a teapot, say, would you like some tea? And then just basically as the tea, pull out one of his sayings on a little slip of paper and give those to people. I think that would be kind of fun. And it would be another one where I could probably just, I would maybe need to put my hair back and add a braid. And that would be it. I would not have to do full makeup and a wig. I could just do basic face makeup, add a braid, and be done. I'm not sure how much of a braid he had. I'll have to look. But if it's gender bent, I can do my own thing, which is the wonderful thing about cosplay is sometimes it's all about exact reproduction of a costume. That's amazing. And then other times it's also not even other times, it is also about interpretation and representation and doing what making it fit you. Of course, it's really fun when you can do something that people recognize. Everybody right now thinks that my dwarf cosplay is off of, I can't think of it. It's the huge Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channel thing. There's, I guess, a lady there that plays a dwarf, and I had so many middle-aged men walk up to me the last time I wore my costume. Oh, are you cosplaying so and so from whatever that was? And I'm like, no, that's not who I'm cosplaying. I guess it's going to be a thing going forward, unless I like carry a giant sign that says Lord of the Rings. No, I am not. What's her name from What's its YouTube? I might do that. Anyway, yeah, I like I said, I don't know when they'll be crossed. They'll probably will be because I need to get back to it. I've got to finish the stocking for the grand spawn, and I do have stockings I want to make and other things, gifts and things to finish. So probably once con season and our conventions are later in the year, once that's over, I'll get back into cross stitch, and I'll be doing it here and there. Yeah, I should have probably made notes and written a script for today, and I didn't. I just was like, hey, the spawn's out of the house. I think I'm going to do a cosplay tube, whatever update. If you're still watching, thank you. I appreciate it. This went on longer and had a lot of more rambling in it than I usually do, probably because I haven't been updating as often. Anyway, wishing you a wonderful week. Um, stay safe, stay healthy. If you can get vaccinated, please do. It's going to be better for everybody. And honestly, the more if we can get the vaccine is we need to be getting the vaccines to everyone globally. Hello, because then we don't get the horrid variants like the ones going around in India right now. I keep candles lit, but yeah, if you can get vaccinated, do. And I will see you when I see you. I guess I won't make any promises. Bye.